Are short-term rentals in the Poconos still the golden goose of real estate, or has that gold rush finally ended? Whether you're a seasoned investor or a newbie that's deciding to potentially buy in the Poconos in 2025, this is going to be the video that helps you out. Let's dive into it. All right, so I have to give a little bit of context and a little bit of background, right? Because I am a short-term rental owner in the Poconos, and I've been so since 2021. There's a lot of people out there that have owned short-term rentals in this area for a lot longer, right? But I have seen the gold rush, I've experienced it, and I've experienced what it has become now. The Poconos has always been a destination area for decades. People have been visiting the Poconos year-round for decades, right? They've been coming from Philly, New York, New Jersey, and places that are all around. But the short-term rental market has absolutely exploded since the pandemic in 2020. And that has caused a lot of big changes. Rising prices, a huge amount of competition. People are going to say it's oversaturated. A ton of regulations, all of which we're going to get into now. Now, if you're thinking about buying in the Poconos, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what are the benefits? It seems like there's a lot of negatives against it. Well, here are some of the benefits for you. There is always high demand, even in a down market, even in economically unsound markets. There's always a high demand, and people are traveling to the Poconos for anything. They're traveling for birthdays, for skiing, for relaxing, for bachelorette and bachelor parties, right? There's always reasons that people are visiting the Poconos, and they're doing so year-round, which is a huge opportunity for vacation rental owners. You also have relatively affordable prices. Now, look, a lot of people are going to push back on that and say, are you kidding me? The values of homes have skyrocketed in the Poconos. Where I own in Tallahassee Trails, there are properties that are selling in the millions for lakefront homes, which is mind-blowing, in the millions, right? But compared to other areas like this, other mountain areas such as the Catskills or even the Blue Ridge Mountains down south, the Poconos are relatively more affordable than some high-ticket areas. There is also still a strong potential for a return on investment, which I'll get into more later in the video. But first, let's look at the risks and the challenges of investing in the Poconos in 2025. The most important risk to think about are the regulations. Look, there have been so many different rules, regulations, for all the townships, for all the different HOAs in the past 4 years. It's actually nauseating, right? There have been lawsuits, there have been boards of directors that have tried to impose very illegal things on some of these certain areas, but it is always changing. And that can be very frustrating because investors, they don't want to know that they can buy a home in a certain area and then in 6 months or a year, those rules can change, right? Because that completely destroys your return on investment. It destroys the actual investment, and it causes a lot of people to sell, which is happening right now. And then you have market saturation. I like to call it competition because saturation means it's filled to the point where you can't fill it anymore, right? But you can still buy more short-term rentals, and homes are coming for sale that are short-term rentals, right? So I want to get this in your head that it's just competition. And I say just competition because that means that if you do it right, you can stand out. Let me say that again. If you do it right, you can stand out. And that's the opportunities I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But there is a lot of competition. The standard 3-bed, 2-bath home is the most competitive home that is on Airbnb, and it's on Vrbo, and it's on Booking.com, right? So if you're buying a 3-2, just know there are so many 3-2s available, so many. So you're competing with the most amount of owners. And you still have economic uncertainty, right? Because we still don't know where 2025 is going to go. And interest rates are still high. Yes, they're projected to come down in 2025, but we don't know when that's actually going to happen, right? Because right now it's just under 7%. You know, you could watch this video in 6 months and it could be in the low 6s, or it could still be hovering around 7%. We just don't know. There's a lot of economic uncertainty going into 2025 as well. And look, it's not easy money. It's not printing money anymore. There's a lot of work and there's a lot of effort involved in owning a short-term rental, which leads into the next section that I want to talk about, which is the factors you need to consider before buying. What is your budget and what are your finances like in a high interest rate environment? Because the number one reason that people are selling their homes in the Poconos that they use as a short-term rental is because the numbers do not make sense anymore, right? So if you're financing a property and you're buying at an inflated price, which I do believe there is some room and opportunities to get it at lower prices, but if you're buying at a higher price with interest rates are higher, that means your monthly expenses are going to be higher, right? So does your projected cash flow meet your projected expenses? And which one is higher, right? That's the easiest way to determine if you're buying a good deal or not. Also, you need to understand what your ability is to navigate the regulations that are happening wherever you're buying. Look, I don't have a crystal ball, and I cannot say with absolute certainty where all the rules and regulations are going to go in all of these different areas. Nobody knows. Absolutely nobody knows. But can you go with the flow, essentially, right? If things do happen and those regulations take place, what is your exit plan? You have to have multiple strategies to exit the property that you're purchasing in 2025 in order for it to be a somewhat safe investment, because you can never guarantee that it's going to be fully safe. Also, you have to think about the importance of location, right? Because not all areas in the Poconos are made the same. Areas that are closer to attractions generally are the properties that rent for more for your average daily rate and for more throughout the year, right? So you want to focus on areas that aren't in complete, Timbuktu, right? You want to be closer to the major attractions of the Poconos, and location is going to be very important in 2025. And then lastly, analyze the competition in your neighborhood. That's probably the most important thing you should do first. Analyze the competition in your neighborhood. Where is it? How many properties are available? How many of them are 3 beds, 4 beds, 5 beds? How many of them are 2 beds, right? Because smaller properties might be a good opportunity in 2025, but you have to analyze the current competition where you're deciding to buy, which leads perfectly into the last segment, that is opportunities. What are the opportunities you have with buying a short-term rental in the Poconos this year coming up? I will say this, your home has to stand out above everyone else. You have to do something. You have to design it properly. You have to have all the amenities that everyone is looking for. You have to really create a unique experience. They are the properties that are going to be successful moving forward in 2025. Now rewind it and watch it again, right? Because that's what you have to focus on. If you are just buying a normal property like everyone else has, and you have normal furniture like everyone else has, and you just do things normally, you're not going to be successful. That's why you have to look into either the smaller properties or the bigger properties. The bigger properties can host more people, more families, and when you have more people, they can pay a little bit more for the properties because they divide it up amongst 15 people or 20 people instead of 5, 6, or 8. And then also look at smaller properties as well, because there are still 2, 3, 4 people who might want to vacation together, couples, small families, that want a smaller property. They don't want to spend $400, $500, $600 a night. They want to spend $150 or $200 a night. So those are a couple different opportunities that you can cash in on in 2025. So let me know what you think. And if I can help you to buy your first short-term rental, or if you're looking to get out of the business and sell a short-term rental in the Poconos, all you got to do, click that link below, schedule an appointment with me. We'd love to help in any way. Look forward to speaking with you soon. Have an awesome day.